Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge we have from 1844. No joke, true story. T.W. Samuels. There's the old logo. Pasted on in a way to with the new logo. Introduced 1844. T.W. Samuels, a real person, was an independent distiller, but now it's part of Heaven Hill. This is their blended whiskey. It says T.W. Samuels, registered U.S. Patent Office. That's the old way of writing it. Every drop contains Kentucky whiskey. Yeah, that's true. Kentucky blended whiskey. They're both 80. The other one too. These are both 80-20 blends, aged 3 years. Heaven Hill crest. All right, here's Kentucky Beau. It has no back label. Kentucky Beau, Kentucky whiskey, a blend. Got these two horseshoes. Now, I've seen photos of black label straight whiskey from Kentucky Beau, and there may be still that, but they're not showing it on the Heaven Hill website. That doesn't mean a whole lot because there's a lot of stuff they make that they don't necessarily talk about. Introduced in 1950. Kentucky Beau. Beau is like boyfriend in French. You say Kentucky boyfriend. Hey, look, I didn't make the thing up. I don't produce these products. I just bought it in Meridian, Mississippi for $6.49 plus tax. Chris Topher says, I love whiskey. Have a good one, Ron. You too. Chris, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Bought this at Winn-Dixie for $8.99. All right. They sell it here in this town at Winn-Dixie, only at Winn-Dixie. Now, if you go to Baton Rouge, and especially the North Shore of Lake Pontchartrain, Ponchatoula, Hammond, Covington, Mandeville, it's very prominent. It's like the cheap whiskey on the shelf. Okay. Here, south and southwest of Lake Pontchartrain, south of Lake Maurepas, you would see a cheap whiskey on all the shelves, but it'd be Heaven Hill's Quality House Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. They call it Quality House now. It used to just be called Heaven Hill with the old store placard. Looks like an old wooden store sign. That's the one you see around here. Go, like I say, the Florida parishes, especially the eastern part of the Florida parishes, you see T.W. Samuels. It's all Heaven Hill. I've never seen Kentucky Beau in Louisiana. Am I sorry about that? No, I'm not. I got a solo review coming up. We recorded it over a week ago. I'm so backlogged on reviews. But I'll be putting them out once a day, until I catch up. I did one. I posted one this morning. My friend David came over and he was saying, because he was giving up alcohol for Lent, he said, you want to do a bunch of reviews before that starts? I said, that's a good idea. And so he brought the Stone Die Hard IPA, which we loved. Me more than him, but we both loved it. He brought a second beer, Stone Movie Lines, was that whatever that crazy name is. We had done the can version before, and we did the bottle, and that was, still good. 2 years later, great beer. Then we did a third beer. The Pabst. Yoo-hoo, I call it Yoo-hoo, that coffee thing. And well, it was strange, I guess, but we did like it for what it was. I mean, you may not like what it is. I mean, I wouldn't go buy it, but you get only 11 ounces, not 11.2, just 11. And it's a little bit expensive. It's a novelty item, you know what I'm saying? But they did a good job for what it is. And then we did the Kentucky Beau. He said, yeah, let's review it. You can see that later when I post it. They're both gold. There's not much to say about either one of these. Now, the man who started Four Roses in 1940, I think it was 1944 Roses bourbon, which I believe at one time was a blended whiskey, and then it became a bourbon, straight bourbon. Or they might still make a blended whiskey version of it that you can see around. Because these companies produce weird things, you know, like you don't expect it, then there it is. I'm not even going to post a link for Heaven Hill because these are not listed on their website except in their product specifications, which is just a list. And I don't even think it's a complete list. But it wasn't T.W. Samuels in 1940 that started Four Roses. It wasn't the same T.W. Samuels that started T.W. Samuels in 1844. It was his grandson, I think. Could have been great-grandson, but I think it was his grandson. All right, so there's really no connection beyond that with Four Roses and this stuff. Except they're from Kentucky, I guess if you want to call that a connection. But I finished up the Kentucky Gold. That was so bland. And I couldn't tell it apart from the Kentucky Beau. It was like, I'm talking about this one's better, but then I couldn't tell them apart. I got it wrong, so I didn't even know which one was better. I thought I did. I don't think this is going to be any different. T.W. Samuels and Kentucky Beau are both aberrant. And what I mean by aberrant, they're an aberration. They don't taste right. Like they have this strange honeydew melon undertaste. And I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure whiskey shouldn't taste like honeydew melon. Although you get on some of these Scotch websites and other whiskey websites, they're talking about orange peel, lemon peel, you know, baked apple. So, okay, fruit, you know, maybe so, but honeydew melon, I don't know. I have a lot of other blended whiskeys to put up against this. Most of them are not exactly very good. Now, the Clubhouse, it's strange. That's coming up next. Another Heaven Hill brand, Clubhouse. That's a strange one. They have flavoring added, natural flavors, and I don't know what that is, but it makes it taste like, can't even remember, some kind of raisin or something. But my friend David was like, yeah, this stuff's good. It's good. I said, Clubhouse? Yeah, and it's $6.99 a bottle. That international market. I said, I know. They got it for $5.99 at Savannah Discount. He said, well, I'm not driving 20 miles to go get it. I'm going to use more than $1 worth of gas to save $1. Right. I mean, you wouldn't do that. But if you happen to be at Savannah Discount, you could buy a bunch. And we did a group review, Jean-Pierre, the Beverage Ramble, myself, and David, of the Clubhouse. And we were favorable towards it, even though to me it's strange. And then he was saying it's as good as Seagram 7 Crown. I said, whoa, you're going overboard now. Ain't no way it even comes close to 7 Crown. That's the best American blended whiskey I ever tried. I mean, it's not even close. Grand Legacy is another oddity. That's from can't say the word, Sazerac. It has natural flavors also. Is that an unusual thing? No, because most Canadian blended whiskeys have natural flavors added. Be usually stuff like rum, dessert wine, brandy, even bourbon. It's weird, isn't it? Thumbs up, says Jacob Downey. Libations, I think he means. Thanks, Jacob. Joe Biden's dentures. Happy Socialist Super Tuesday. Workers of the world unite. An unfathomable misery, that is. Yeah, right. The R was a misspell, or maybe I'm feeling like a pirate. Right. Harvey Bristol Cream. Harvey's Bristol Cream is the best cream sherry I've ever tried. I like the Taylor Cream Sherry. I like Sheffield Cream Sherry. I like Fairbanks Cream Sherry. I like Christian Brothers Cream Sherry. They're all good. All right. But Harvey's Bristol Cream from Spain, it just blows them away. It's not even a contest. It's so superior. You say, yeah, it costs $10 more a bottle. Yeah, I know, and it's worth it. Oh, this smells like, all right, I don't want to overplay it. These are not as bad as I make them out to be, but they're not too good either. Okay, you do pick up a little wood here. They're in the barrel 3 years, so okay. It's used barrels. Don't get an impression that it's a newly charred white oak barrel. No, it's probably a 30-year-old barrel that they just keep reusing until it totally falls apart. Some of these barrels I read that they use them for 100 years, like in Scotland with Scotch. So you get a little wood because you're taking straight bourbon whiskey. It's probably minimal age, you know. But we don't know that because Heaven Hill already said in their videos, well, videos made at Heaven Hill by other people, that when their bourbons go bad, not go bad, don't come out right because it's not spoiled. Like whatever, it got too much heat, not enough heat, too much humidity, not enough humidity, whatever. They just blend them off. The man says they blend them off into a blended whiskey like this. They take the grain spirits, which is corn, what you call moonshine, clear, odorless, colorless corn whiskey. It's unaged, 80%, and then they blend in 20% straight bourbon of whatever brand they trying to get rid of. Then they age that for 3 years. Then you get this. So you're aging the corn liquor in a barrel for 3 years, but it's a used barrel, so it's really not going to take on a deep hue of reddish brown. There's sirens. I hope everything's okay. So they'll add, oftentimes they'll add caramel color into these. Now some of these, they're so light and yellow, you got the idea that they're not adding caramel color. But these, they probably are. They do that with Canadian whiskey and Scotch and Coca-Cola and RC Cola. They add caramel color to make it look browner than it should be. Okay, so that smells like corn. I mean, just go to the store and buy an ear of corn on the cob, boil it with no salt. You know, don't put salt. And then eat it, and it would taste like this. Of course, you would add salt for eating because it would make it taste, you know, tolerable. But that's what that taste smells like. This smells the same, but I'm getting a little of that honeydew melon, which makes me think it's T.W. Samuel. Quality costs more, a universal truth. Yes, that's right. Our left-wing friends don't want to believe that. You notice I didn't say enemies because I have a lot of people I know on the beer, wine, and liquor community. They got these left-wing ideas. Of course, I don't support those ideas, and I even talk bad about the ideas. But I don't attack the people, you know. I'm trying to help them. I'm trying to convert them. You know what I'm saying? But I haven't had that same experience flipped around generally. If they're like left-wing socialists, progressive, as they like to call it, when they find out that I'm not, boy, they are, oftentimes their demeanor changes on a dime. They go from telling me in a private message, oh man, thanks for becoming my friend. It's an honor. I adore your channel. It's wonderful. And they like a little bit too unusually close with that. I'm like, okay, thanks, you know, and then, oh, wow. And they're going on and on. Comment this, comment that, posting this, posting that, hang out this, hang out that. Let's do this, let's do that. But then, you know, inevitably some political thing's going to come up. And I don't push it per se. I don't, but I don't back off from it either. And boy, they could just turn in a hot second, you know, oh, I don't like you. It's like you just finished telling me a year ago how it was like some honor, like it changed your life perspective that I could be your friend. And now I'm your mortal enemy because I don't believe the government should take stuff from people. This is not an isolated case. This has been an ongoing problem for 10 years. And they just get hysterical. And I say, you know, it's funny that you're so open-minded, yet You are perhaps the most closed-minded person I've ever met in my life. And you're like opposed to education. You're opposed to like learning because you know everything. In your mind, you know everything. You think you know everything. All right, well, let's go back to this. But you know what I'm saying? Listen to what I'm saying. You got to watch out for people that are odd. Let's call it. For the left, politics is a religion. They're brainwashed. It is a religion because they just go crazy, and you can't even reason, or they'll just, I'll say, well, I don't know. And next thing you go, blocked. It's like, wow, it's a totalitarian mindset. I don't care, block me, but don't, it's so strange, you're bowing down at my feet because I review beer. And like, okay, you could do that, but I'm not special. You could get your own camera and go do videos. Okay, no big deal. But you're bowing down at my feet and almost like hero worship 1 minute. Let's have a meetup. Come to my house. My wife loves to cook macaroni, all of this. I want to come visit you in Louisiana. And the next minute, I'm your mortal enemy because of some trivial political thing. It's not healthy. That's not a sign of mental health or stability. I'm afraid. Knows what you're saying. Knows what you're saying. Not sure I understand that comment. Knows what you're saying. Moline charges 35 cents a person each in tax. Be sure to carry out or drive through. Oh yeah. They love taxes. When you censor someone, you only show your fear of what they say. Now, there are times when, you could utilize that mechanism to block someone because you got crazy people, they'll like bother you all day, or like want to send private messages all day. You get, because it could, like somebody said a month ago, social media is where the schizophrenics come to play. And this is true. They might be living in a tent under the interstate and say, I got no money, man. But they got a smartphone. They're on it all day. It's like, well, you got no money. You're living in a tent under the bridge, but you got a smartphone and you're on social media at 19 hours a day, talking about how the Cubans are spying on you through the CIA Freemasonry television antennas that were planted by Lyndon LaRouche when he was working for the Gestapo or something. They'd be talking crazy, that kind of stuff you want to block because you can't entertain it. It doesn't make any sense. And you wouldn't be able to reason with them and say, look, I got to get back to planet Earth now because you're part of it, man. I read your platform. And you're like, what? I read your platform. Your mind is mad, but your soul is happy. And it's like, okay, well, I'm sorry I met you. All right. But that's the normal situation where you want to block somebody. I'm just talking about people that don't agree on politics. My friend Paul and I had that experience. After Trump got elected, we had friends on Facebook went totally. These people we went to high school with went crazy, screaming, hollering, cursing. I said, he's mad. He's crazy. And my friend Paul said, well, we're still friends at least. I said, you better check your account. He did block me. He did unfriend me. I said, he's crazy, He's totally crazy. I like how New York State is charging $60 for a stargazing permit. An eat-in tax. Oh, man. They will tax the street, tax your feet, tax the air you breathe. Okay. But notice how relaxed I am. I'm always relaxed when I talk about politics. What you say, why is that? Because I know I can win. And I know I'm right. All right. And I know what I'm talking about. These taste remarkably identical, but they're not, but they do. You know what I'm saying? Like they do basically, if you think about it, they don't quite, but they are practically identical. I mean, I could sit here and say, oh, this one's got 99% identicality. And this one is, but they're 1% different in these aspects. Yeah. But are they really different? No. Oh man. Row. Ow. Ah, no, no. Honeydew melon. Yikes. That is grim. I don't mean grim like camo, black ice grim, or camo 5X grim, or earthquake high gravity 10% or 12% grim. I don't mean that bad. Or axe head, because when you get bad beers, they can really be monstrous. Monstrous. Bad whiskeys can just be, they're normally not monstrously bad. They're usually just like unappealing. You know what I'm saying? Like you could drink it, but you're thinking, why did I pay $5.99 for this? Oh yeah, because it's $5.99 a liter. But you know what I'm saying? Like you can tolerate it. I mean, these are tolerable. There's a little nuttiness there. There is a little pecan shell, walnut oil. I mean, you can kind of break them down into component parts and analyze and give descriptors. You can do that with these. You really could. Talking about the wood, no char though. You know, the straight bourbon, the nuttiness, even some honey, not honeydew. What do you call that? Honeysuckle. Yeah, you know the things in the summer, the flower. But the overall feeling of these is that they're inexpensive. They're kind of junky. They're not too enjoyable, and nobody's buying them for this anyway. You know, no one goes to whatever that liquor store is in Meridian, because you can't buy liquor at a grocery store in Meridian, Mississippi, or anywhere else in Mississippi. But in Louisiana, you can. Or they're not going to Winn-Dixie and buying T.W. Samuels so they can swish it around in a glass and talk about the nutty qualities. You notice the walnut oil and the pecan shell. No one does that. Like I've said before, they're mixing it with Delaware punch or Hawaiian punch or you say Coca-Cola. Well, probably more like Food Club Cola. You know what I'm saying? These are very lowbrow products. Lowbrow. But still, on their own merits, you could argue them up to a tolerable level. Like they might even be arguably good in some ways. You understand? So you can kind of drink them and they're not ghastly. But when it comes to the cheap beers, oh no, you just can't. You can try to spin it like I did with the earthquake high gravity 12%. If you watch that video, I was saying there are some redeeming qualities. I'm like trying to talk about the good points, but there isn't really any. It's just a nightmare. And I found that out when I drank the whole can. It was really a nightmare 3 hours later. Okay, but these are a nightmare by any means. But it still begs the question, like, why would you buy it? You know what I'm saying? If you say, well, I got no money, I work at a menial job and I make minimal income and I really can't afford anything else, but I want some whiskey at night to mix in with some store brand cola. Okay, I'll accept that. And I think that's a credible reason. Okay. But if you had the money and you could afford something nice, okay, you want blended whiskey. You say, oh, I like blended whiskey. Okay, well, get Seagram 7 Crown. Okay, you can still get a big jug bottle for about $19.97, depending on who's running the sale. Plus, you can get those Diageo rebates and get $4 off, and you can get it for $15.97. Just got to wait a few weeks. You'll get the refund. You'll get the refund, though. They will send it. So if you insist on drinking blended whiskey, and millions of people a day do insist on that, whether it's blended Scotch, blended Canadian whiskey, blended American whiskey, blended Japanese whiskey like the Suntory and the Suntory Tokai, which I loved. My friend David don't like them. Sure, fine. But get the 7 Crown. You know what I'm saying? Get the Seagram 7 Crown. And you hate to see how this, look, do you know what's going to happen when I do 7 Crown against these? It's going to be a fiasco. An absolute fiasco. Now, that's a higher ratio. You get 25% straight bourbon with that one. Straight whiskey, which is invariably bourbon. Doesn't have to be, though. And it's just better. It's better. You can tell it's better grains. It's just better. Probably better quality corn whiskey, better quality bourbon. It's just better. Better barrels, better everything from Midwest Grain Products. It's just better, okay? These are not better. But Okay. Oh yeah, I can't even tell which is which. Now, which is which? So what would I do with these? I just shop price. I wouldn't really shop them at all. But I mean, if I was theoretically, I would buy whatever one was cheaper, which would be the Kentucky Beau. $1.50 cheaper. Okay, so I'm bottom one that's $1.50 cheaper. No, it's not a complicated um, problem to solve. Mm. Oh, that's so corn. I think it's the Samuels though, because I'm getting this strange honeydew melon. I think it's the TW Samuels. Well, I'm gonna know as soon as I look at the label. It is. Haha, I got it right. So they weren't quite identical, but they're close. Is the Kentucky Beau better? I think it's a little bit better. And it's cheaper, so it's the winner. It's the winner. Oh boy. So would I recommend it? Well, depends on your mindset. If you're like me and you see weird things and you want to try them out just because they're weird things and nobody else ever tried them, it's like, yeah, it has like a perverse attraction. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it ain't going to be good. Like a lot of these cheap beers I buy when I'm on road trips, it's not going to be good. And you're going to basically hate it, but you're still drawn toward it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I would recommend it if you are like me and have a perverse interest in these strange items. But otherwise, I mean, don't buy that. Just pay the $12, the $14. Get the Seagram 7 Crown. It's a weird sounding bird. Okay, let's look at the comments and I'm going to shut this down. I might come back later for a rum taste challenge. And I'll be dealing with quality stuff then, not this stuff. I was going to say filth, but I shouldn't say that. Because it really isn't filth. Only in a relative sense. I'm going to come back with the Appleton Estate Signature Blend. Oh, that's a jewel, that. Then I'm going to go against Bacardi Gold, which is about $5 cheaper per bottle. I think the Appleton's going to beat it, but I can't say for sure because I haven't taste challenged them yet. Okay. I like how New York State is charging $60 for a stargazing permit. It's for mixing. If it's for mixing or beer pong, shop price. Exactly. And that's what these are for. I mean, they're not. I like honeydew. Well, you might like. I wonder if Mountain Dew will make honey Mountain Dew. It might. Wild Mountain Honey, like Steve Miller Band. I added some muskmelon to my salsa last year instead of cane sugar. I might add some honeydew this year. Okay. Cheers, Ron, says Dr. Frosty Brew. Cheers to you. Voltron, hey. Good to hear from you. Defender of the Universe. Hi again. How do you? Hey, yeah, I spaced out a bit. Oh, that's all right. I'm always doing it. Do you ever taste challenge beer? Yes, many times. Many times. Many times. Morning libations. Laughing out loud. Yeah. Well, I don't drink whiskey in the morning. I'm not crazy. I'm just taste challenging it. Beer review this morning at 8. I do plan on doing a beer review, and it's called Stritzer Schwarzbier, which was sent to me from the east coast of Virginia. Douglas sent me 3 beers. He said, I want you to try these 3 beers. I felt bad, though, because he sent me 2 that I've already reviewed in the past. Called Stritzer and Devil's Backbone 8-point. But I didn't feel too bad because I'm always telling people, don't send me stuff, But they insist. I insist. And then sometimes it doesn't come in. And then when I ask them what's going on, they get angry. It's like, well, you came to me. And I told you don't send it. And you insisted and said it was no problem. Then when nothing came in, I asked you what's going on and you act like it was a problem. I don't know. Some people are, well, crazy. Anyway, really crazy. But he did send me two that I've already had. And I told him, I said, well, I'm going to still review them and give my honest review because it's been years since I had the Kostritzer. I think about 2 years ago, I drank it on draft at Deutsch's house during Volksfest. They always have it on draft at Deutsch's house. It's so good, you know, on draft. And then the Devil's Backbone, well, the last time I had it was 2014. So, yeah, it was about time to do a revisit. Yeah, that was dynamite. It's always an A. Like Devil's Backbone, 8-point is always an A. Like, you know, it's going to be an A. It's going to be an A every time. And then there's a 16-point double IPA. Imagine what that would be. Double A, right? Double delicious. And the third one he sent me was a Polish lager, 5.4% from Castellan, which I never heard of before, but it was dynamite. It was a dynamite product. You like dynamite beer? You like beer that tastes great and is delicious? You would like Castellan. Okay, anyway, thanks for watching this video production. If people have posted beer reviews in the last 24 hours, which I'm certain that's happened, I'm going to watch them all. Got a lot of watching to do. Thanks.